The top 7 mistakes that great founders make. Not true. Redoing it. Top 7 mistakes that founders make. In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys how to avoid wasting resources. If you've been building your company and you've made a couple pitfalls, I'm going to walk you through the 7 most common that I've seen people make over and over again. Because at the end of the day, you don't have unlimited time, money, or your resources on your team. So I'm going to walk you through the areas you're probably spending to avoid making these mistakes. Now, I've done over 1,300 calls, just through clarity, and I've spoken at events, and I've advised a bunch of different entrepreneurs on how to grow their business. And I've seen the patterns, and these patterns come up over and over again. I've extracted the top 7 to share with you in this video. Just last week, actually, an entrepreneur named Fred reached out to me with this SEO product that he built, and he was like, "Hey, Dan, I'm having a hard time finding traction." And I realized he'd made 2 of the mistakes I'm going to share with you guys today. And just walking him through that, he was like, "Oh, I know." So that's why I'm creating this video, for you to learn. The number one is starting with a freemium product. And here's why. Free means I'm going to let people use this for free in exchange for advice. That's the argument usually. And eventually some people will upgrade to a paid plan. Here's why that doesn't work, is the advice you get from free users do not directly correlate to ones that are going to pay. So what I would suggest is instead start with the paid version or the premium version of the free, and then use free as a marketing decision. So that's number 1. 2 is have multiple ideas, and that's cool. In the early days, if you're testing, I'm game with that. You have 2, 3 different ideas, 2-week iteration test, totally cool. What I have is a problem with is when I meet an entrepreneur and they're like, "Well, I've got these 2 businesses." To me, having 2 businesses is trying to use the toilet on 2 separate toilets at the exact same time. Yes, I gave you that visual because you need to understand that you can't be doing that. It's possible, but it's super messy. So you're better off picking one and going deep until at some point you learn that maybe that's not the right idea. But pick one idea and go forward with it. So that's number 2. 3 is you don't solve the problem. You have something that's cool. Some people use it. They like it. But it's not a painkiller. It's more of a vitamin. And just think about that concept. It's a nice to have, not a must have. And to me, the best companies out there are solving real pains in the market. So make sure that you're actually doing that, not just building something that's nice and kind of cool, but not really going to solve a major problem. So that's number 3. 4 is you go wide instead of focused. Okay. So when I meet entrepreneurs and they're building a tool, for example, a social media marketing platform, I'm like, that's cool. But it sounds like when I ask who your customer is, it's anybody in the world. But I would suggest that in the early days is you pick a niche and you go deep. So if you said, "I'm building a social media marketing platform for flower shops," that's incredibly powerful. So I just call it the subcategory question. This is the category you're in, social media marketing, but what's the subcategory? Focus on that niche, get some traction, and then you broaden it up. That's number 4. 5 is the process. I was on a call last week with an entrepreneur, and they were raising money to start and build their company. And I said, "That's cool, and I appreciate it, but as an investor, I would never invest in a company that doesn't have a product in the market with some level of traction, customers, because in today's world, when it costs very little to start, any business for that matter, or even just approach a company to get them to be part of a pilot and pre-order your product, that's a huge signal that you're going to build the company wrong." So it's really the process. So the high level is you have an idea, you build a prototype, you get pre-orders, you deliver it, then you raise money. So make sure that you follow a process that's tried and true, or you might actually be successful raising money, build a product for a market that doesn't exist or a customer that doesn't have the need, and then you got to go back to your investors after you've lost all their money. So that's a big one. The 6th one is take feedback as gospel. When I'm talking to a customer, I love getting feedback. I answer all my customer support emails. I cold call customers every Thursday. I call it Smile and Dial. I want to talk and get their feedback. But I put it into kind of like this holding area and talk to multiple customers and see a pattern. The pain that I see in entrepreneurs is when they talk to one customer, they have a new idea and they keep moving forward, and then they find out like nobody else amongst their customer base had the idea and they spend a bunch of time and energy. So don't take it as gospel, take it as just general awareness, and then see if that pattern shows up again and again. And honestly, if you're saying, "Okay, well, I have a free customer and a paid customer," focus on the paid. They're the one that are going to give you the real ideas that are going to help you grow your business. And 7 is you don't pivot the customer, you only pivot the product. Here's what I mean by that, is instead of saying, "You know what, maybe, because a lot of entrepreneurs get into this feature release. The next release is the silver bullet. The next feature is going to make the product finally work for our customers. And many times you're talking to your customer and you realize like this is a nice to have for them. And there could be another segment, another category, another industry where this solution would actually be a must have. So I would argue that many entrepreneurs, one of the biggest mistakes they make is they don't pivot the customer. They only pivot the product. That's what I have for you today. So I want to quickly walk through. 1, freemium. 2 is you have multiple ideas when you should be working on one. 3 is you don't solve a problem. You have a vitamin, not a painkiller. 4 is you go wide and you don't focus on a niche. 5 is you have a bad process, so you're trying to raise money before you build a product as an example, so have a better product. 6 is you take feedback as gospel, just put it in that holding tank, process it, and eventually you'll figure it out. And then 5 is you don't pivot the customer, you only pivot your product. Those are the top mistakes that entrepreneurs make. I want to challenge you to live a bigger life and a bigger business, and I'll see you next Monday. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel where you'll get other videos on how to start and grow your business. I also have an exclusive newsletter where I share special invites to events, community contests, and free training videos. And if you want more content right now, be sure to check out those couple of videos, and I'll see you next week.